Alrighty, what's happening, folks? We are playing some SunCe in the Clash lane. Here are the runes in case you're wondering. I got the Unparalleled. We are running a attack speed build. So kind of not the normal meta, but this is my meta. So Reaver, Eagle Eye. You'll see how this goes. To be fair, we were hacked a little bit here, and so was my team. I'll point it out as we get to it. That'll be the courtesy of your low IQ federal fucking USA government and their lack of moral obligation and their negligence while ongoing crime continues to happen. That being said, there's a little duality in that situation where the China and their 10-cent studios are not helping the problem either. So we bash them both, slander them both, and they can't do shit about it. Why? Because I got freedom of speech and they can't do shit legally. Anyways, with that being said, we're going to get right into the commentary here. So it's a really good game, and SunCe is a weapon of mass destruction. So as you can see, that attack speed is doing quite a bit of work. I will put that attack speed boots up in the top right when we buy it. You can see I have the sprint here, so I can get in on plays. I can cut my response time quite a bit. And we're going to get into it with the Spark Forge here and see what we can do. We are going against the new champion. As you can see, I am whooping his butt. So a little bit of trouble for this guy. SunCe is on the broken list. So if you have not picked this guy up, pick him up. You can see in my previous videos, I do have a SunCe jungle. He is very nasty. That set sail, his ultimate, he just flies across the map on a ship like Treasure Island. Treasure Planet. And it's very devastating stuff. You will get AoE knockup on the whole team. It's pretty crazy. You can see I'm riding a horse. Not a horse, a dog, excuse me. Think about Guan Yu for a moment. So slight brain fart there. Anyways, you can see he's riding a dog in this skin. So pretty cool cosmetic appeal there. Either way, he's really awesome and very fun. That's the main point, is if you want to play someone really fun who can really do some damage, take some hits, you can be that top of the level fighter, duelist, bruiser, a little tanky, a lot of damage. You like to duke it out. SunCe is the pick for you. So a little upsell there on the kit. Just running over the kit real quick. You can see I went over the ult, the number 2 skill, which is the one I'm maxing. You could max the 1. I prefer to max the 2, as that's a big component of your damage kit. Excuse me. It's burping. I just ate a little bit. The number 2 is really nice. It's slightly broken because you get 3 uses of it. So kind of OP. And basically, if you get your basic attacks in between that, you get a little bit of damage in an AoE shape like a cleave effect. So you can hit multiple targets with that as well. And the 1 skill is a nice little gap close, which leads into a knockup. So if you land right on top of the opponents, they will be knocked up. So there's a lot of CC components going on with the knockups, and synergy with his kit with a beautiful layup on shooting up into their ship with your ship, and then laying into them with your 1 to get a second knockup for some CC lock potential there, and then going ham with your 2 and getting some basic attacks in between. So really, really good stuff there. It's wonderful. Now he's just cleaning up this jungle here, seeing if I can stay ahead of the gold and the XP. Rule number 2, and minding myself in terms of safety and being careful in movement game and kite game. Rule number 1. So anytime, if you need to, refer to the rules at the top of the description on my TikTok or my YouTube, and check that tier list. I am updating it as often as possible. We are playing this every single game, so I don't got any excuses in terms of I'm not uploading videos, or I'm not going to be here, or I leave the scene, or I'm not putting in the work. So if you need help at HoK, I am your man. So if you're into that, please subscribe to the channel. It is free. It doesn't cost anything but a second of your time, and it helps me out immensely. Helps support me, my children, my grandparents, whatever. Anyways, let's get to it. We do get that Spark Forge. That'll be in the top right corner of your screen as I buy it, so you can go over that and kind of overview that. You can see this Erin is trying to stop me, and she does have ranged, and range is pretty dangerous as a melee. If I do not get the perfect dive against her, then it will go in her favor because she gets those attacks before I can even get into range of doing my basic attacks. So be careful about that. When we talk about lane matchups, range will usually beat the melee unless the melee is extremely competent in the dive. So with that being said, I'm playing careful. I'm trying to peel her out from that turret there. So when we talk about peel, it's not just from the enemy team, it's also from positions of power. You need to watch out for that, and then I'll try to ult her. However, I did see the Sima Yi, or Sima Ya, correct me if I'm wrong, over here in the jungle. I know he wants to get this, so we're trying to take this. He was a little bit delayed on his ult there. It is the pain from AoV, so pretty broken stuff. I knew he was going to follow the trace as I faked him out on the left direction, and I just instantly gap closed to the right, and he's totally screwed. I don't know why my movement is all fiddling there, like going freaking out or something. So you can tell there's some hacking going on. Again, that's the problem with your federal government and China and duality. They're not addressing a problem that is affecting everyone's mental health and adding confliction to people's home. It causes anarchy. It is not helping anyone, including your kids, including your adults. Kind of an adult diaper negligence situation happening here. So it is what it is. With that being said, I'm going to move forward and try to do what I can do for the benefit of the team and be a good sport and a good person, boosting everyone's morale, being the example, being a leader. Nefex, leading. Anyways, I tried to get into this forward position here, get some counter jungle going on against that Pain, the Sima. And I secure that forward vision for my lady. She gets that turret. I pick up that last heal. Keep in mind, once the tier 1 is gone, you don't get a heal. I tried to set cell so lady could jump on, and unfortunately I didn't get it, so that's fine. Try to go over here. Unfortunately, they were hacking my shit, so I couldn't get the turnover there, but you should be able to easily maneuver the map. So again, a little bit of negligence there on the federal government and their cyber justice system or cyber defense system. Again, we're just whistleblowing them. There's nothing they can do about that, freedom of speech, so guess they'll learn to think about their citizens' peace and order, or look asinine in front of all people like the news. Either way, that's what we do, call out the problems and address them. So report these players and do your due diligence for short. Be a man of the people, and the people will be for you. Or a woman, for that instance. Right. So anyways, we see they're grouping up here on this mid tier 1, and we're trying to do something about it. They're pretty grouped up here. Pain comes in. I flick immediately into him. It doesn't go exactly where I wanted it. Otherwise, my timing was pretty flawless there. So I would have immediately stopped him as he came up and knocked him up and totally countered the play. Again, unfortunately, hacking. So there's nothing else to be said about that. I already said my stuff. So it is what it is. But at least lady gets a triple kill. 59% on the crucial team fight DPS. You can tell lady is great in the esports scene. We see her getting picked up all the time. She is a weapon of mass destruction in the DPS realm. So if you're looking for a strong power horse in the bot lane, lady is also a good one to pick up. I personally like the D-Renji, the Hu Yi, and the Consort and the Long, but there's tons of choices in here for all the lanes, so you don't need to feel like you need to play just one thing to climb. You can play a lot of different things, and you can feel assured that it's pretty balanced and you don't have to worry. Otherwise, we do have a 3-ban system here, so 6 of those champion pools, I believe the champion pools at 116 or higher right now. 6 of those can be taken out from the game. I try to make some plays here, going in there, flicking my 1. You can see it's very responsive here, and it wasn't before. I pick up my jungler here, and I'm like, let's go, dude. And he hops on, and we can just go back real quick, faster than recall. So that's really great. Again, this is a global ultimate in terms of how fast you can get across the map. And Sima on the other side as the jungle also has that as well. So just be aware when that happens. At least with Sima, there will be a circle of death or something, whatever you want to call that, underneath you when he pops in. So you kind of get like a second or two to test your reflexes, or you could flash out if you have that. So there is some counterplay components, but for the most part, if they get the drop on you, you are in big trouble. Sima ended up getting a quadra kill a little bit later into this match, so definitely be careful about that. If you're worried about it and a lot of people are picking it, then you can just go ahead and ban it and do your team a favor. So just analyze what's happening on the enemy team in terms of the pick and pre-made games. And if something is being abused a little too much, just take it off the game. Don't worry about it. Just ease the stress and the burden of the pressure of the game in ranked play and make your life easier. That's the point. The other component here is try to tank some damage here. I try to pull that My Sure Knight in. Sema gets a great play here. That's where he picks up that Quadra, so we can go over to that. Really good play there. Try to stop them. Unfortunately, I wasted my knock up here on the other one. Not sure whether Sema was responding or not. It's really hard to tell if he's going to come or not. So either way, pretty good effort there. At least we got 2 of them, but he wiped out the whole team. So you can see his runes here, the Nightmare, the Avarice, and the Mind's Eye. So really good build there. I use those as an AP myself, and he's got that attack speed. He's got a little bit of tankiness, and it stays with the burst damage effect where it pops, and then his next basic attack does a little bit extra damage. Plus he's got that jungle item and the pierce boots, so pretty good build if you're interested in playing Sema. You can see the power right here showcased for you, and Sema is a great pick. He was broken as Pain in AoV, so a lot of people will run him and win games, but he is stoppable. You just have to be a little bit aware and think about what's going to happen and how he's going to interact, and just go about it in a way where you can counter his plays. Looks like I was getting into it over there, so we slightly missed that. I was low, so I just get out, no problem. Looks like Angela's going for a play here. They're trying to peel in the team. You can see that Mankey trying to pull them in, just putting the bait in the sea, seeing if they grab something. We're just going to push these dragons away. You can see they pulled out the Overlord there right after we died, and he had that Quadra kill. So we just stopped that. We don't want to lose those tier 3s. Losing a Highland Tower means they get minions, super minions, and we don't want them to have that either. So we just take that out of the board, just kill it, spend a little bit of time to make sure they can't get any extra value from that. We do not want to give them more bang for buck. A little bit looking too much at the map here, so I missed that, but that happens. It's better to have map awareness and lose a little bit of micro time than to not have map awareness. And that being said, that leads me to you need map awareness. Why? Because you can respond and make critical plays and counter play to stop them from doing things. So you can see very responsive here. Mankey hops on too. I get that My Sure Eye. It's pretty difficult to deal with that. She couldn't do anything, even though she has gap close and CC lock. Why? Because I just instantly dropped on her and then started the 1 to get that knock up. Try to get out here. And unfortunately, my team was hacked, or they were stuck there for no apparent reason. So the enemies can choke on it. Either way, I did it perfectly. I dove on a turret like a pro, kind of like my Liu Shang guides, and instantly hit the Blood Rage there. Again, that Blood Rage will be on the top right side in overview for you on the screen. So you can check that out when I buy it. Same with the Doomsday. So you can see all these items I'm building and why I'm building them, and then you can connect the dots yourself onto the value that they have and the reasons you should bring it for yourself. Again, these are just meta items that everybody's been established using since Season 6 of global launch of HoK. So get with the program, stay on the page of the meta, and if you know what you're doing, you could even try to break the meta. So with that being said, do whatever it takes to win. You got to do what you got to do in order to do what you need to do. That goes back to Mr. Potato Head, one of my favorite content creators in Dead by Daylight. No perks since 2020. So I watch a lot of people, and the reality is once it's public record, people with empathy will eat you and then start using your same words. So act like the most competent people in the world, and you will gain competency yourself. So Aaron's got some plays there, trying to push them back. Angela's pushing forward here. Mankey's going up. I did die there, unfortunately. I don't know what happened, but it's cool. Probably another hack component. Again, this was definitely a hack game. I could tell a lot was going wrong here. So you can kind of feel it. Again, people who have really good nervous systems know when they're losing control or when they have control, and I could tell there was a few mishaps here. This game is not glitchy at all. It's very responsive and very accurate. So definitely some malintent elitism and some negligence on the federal government and their cyber defense. So with that being said, we leave it on record in a public manner, and if all things fail, then all my bases are covered and so are yours. So reality is that could be and can become a class action lawsuit and mental grievance. So with that being said, hopefully the cyber defense teams gets their shit together and stops the problem as a whole. Hopefully. I'll be crossing my fingers, because we all want to just play fair, fun games. And this is kind of very interruptive to the scene and daily life, and it's definitely a peace and order issue. So that being said, we're just coming back to the lane here, trying to push up here to finish the game. So They got some poke play there. For some reason, Angela took a turret shot. Again, it looks like she's getting hacked. It looks like they're hacking my own team. And for those who don't have perceptions, you won't even realize it's happening. But for those who have really strong perception, you will notice it. You should report these players. And again, it's really unfortunate, but that's what's happening right now. Anyways, we go in, balls deep. I just shoot off my ult right there. Try to lay that up. I'm at risk of dying here, but I'm like, whatever. For some reason, the turret didn't get me, and I don't even care, because we're going for the win here. And again, you can see the Mankey here kind of stuttering on her footsteps. Mankey does not have an attack speed build, you can see. Oh, she does, but the reality, she wasn't stutter stepping, so correction there. But she wasn't stutter stepping. You could tell she was just freaking out, like her movement was taken away from her or something. And she's like trying to regain control. It's very obvious.
Checkmate.
Anyways, with that being said, that's GGWP checkmate. So really strong stuff, really good composition. Mankey has been pro level pick since season 6 in esports, so you'll see a lot of those. Unfortunately, we're not seeing too many Agudos, but crit Agudo is also a thing. My lady pulls up a double SS. My Dolly picks up an S. I got an A+. Mankey got A+. Angela got an A. We got 2 S's on the other side here with the new champion and the Kayon, so really good work there. Seema still gets an A. Also had that quadra kill there, so as if he doesn't deserve something higher. In my opinion, getting quadra kill is pretty phenomenal, but the problem is he died quite a bit of times, so that's probably why he got an A instead of an S. A B on the Maisha and I, but we was totally bullying her. Maisha and I is also a pro level pick, so every time I could, I was focusing her, trying to get her out of the fight, and we were trying not to chase her in case she would try to poke us out, and then she was just trying to run away, not even trying to poke. I don't know what was happening, but she looked like the weak link on the team, and we took her out. So that goes to my previous videos where I'm saying try to figure out who the weakest is, take those ones out, get some free snowball, get some gold experience, rule number 2, and then start leading the game through macro, economy, map state, objectives, those sorts of things. So good stuff there. The build's just briefly looking over. Everything looks good. I can't say anyone did wrong or the builds are not meta. Everything looks good. Even with the new champion, he picked a Spark Forge into some Armor Pierce, I believe it is, unless that second tier 3 changed. So subject to change. I could be wrong on that. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then the Doomsday there. So you could see he was going with an attack speed build too, but I was whooping his ass in the beginning, open up a can of whoop ass, and he did not like it. SunCe is very destructive and totally a bully pick. And at the end of the day, this is a bully game. So pick high on the tier list, the broken list, and try to synergize your team with things that are complementary to one another. We went over that in previous videos, so if you need to, go ahead and check those out. Otherwise, the next step, the next component of the metrics here, looking at team fighting for both teams, everything looks pretty normal. Looking at damage taken on myself and the others, 23% is fine, 24% on the Dahlia is fine. I got a 26% on the new champion there as MVP S on the top of the enemy side there, so really good stuff. Keong picked up at 31%, so really good stuff there. 42% on my lady with a double SS. Really solid stuff. That is a pro level stat, getting so much damage. So she was a really good, or she was a really good lady. So phenomenal work there. Applaud that one there. Going into the end game components here of rule number 3, the objectives and the turrets. It looks like we had 9 turrets and 2 overlords. They was totally getting some pressure against us, and we had to pick up those overlords to regain pressure. As you saw, there was a critical moment where they had one of those evolved overlords, and we just took some time to just take it out of the game. They also picked up 2 of those tyrants there, which was making it very difficult for us because they had that extra movement speed and damage. Anyways, that's about it for the video, guys. Remember, keep analyzing, evolving, winning. Check my description for those rules and steps for business success. Or not business, excuse me, gaming success. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Till then, have a great day or night. Bye.